This is a follow-on from our last video, buy a camper van or build a camper van. And what we're trying to do in this video is to build upon what I said before by giving a shout out to some key channels on YouTube that'll give you instructions how to do various bits and pieces to your van to enable you to build it how you want it to be, to give you an insight into different ways people do stuff, and also to show you some of the people out there that can physically help you do this, so you can actually pay them to do bits and pieces on your van for you. Most of the people I'm going to do a shout out for I know and I've watched and I'm subscribed to myself, and I do respect their opinions and what they've done. And a lot of these videos as well also show you when something goes wrong, which I think is also an advantage, because even people that have done this for a long period of time will do something and they decide they don't like it, so they change it. So this is a lot of back history of videos and collections of videos from various YouTubers that'll give you a full library of everything you could possibly want to know about building your van or considering to build your van as well. So I hope you find it useful. So let's start off with a major channel, Greg Virgo. And as you see on Greg Virgo's channel, there's playlists of practically every conceivable thing you could think of in relation to him and his partner Lou building their van, from insulation, noise reductions, lighting, reversing cameras, batteries, roof vents, and the obligatory stick your head through a hole in the roof that everybody does, mains electrics, and then underneath you've got all the diagrams and the information. So there's a wealth of back library here of information of everything that Greg did, and in great detail as well. I always say he's a bit like a school woodwork teacher. He takes you through every element of what you can do and how you can do it, and he takes you through his full van build. I would imagine that most of you know about Greg, and he does go to some of the major meetups as well. He's going to be at the Overland show in April, and he's also going to be at Camp Quakey, and he will literally stand there for hours talking about his van and helping people out. So he has a massive channel, lots of information there, over 70,000 subscribers, and a massive back library of information there that you can just search through, find the particular thing that you're working on and have a look. He's built his van based on a long wheelbase Sprinter, but look at some of the views you've got here, 132,000 views. So mega opportunity here to look in great detail at all the things that Greg's done as part of his van build, and all the links as well for everything he's put in his van are listed within his descriptions. So if you see something on here that you think that'll be great for your van, as well as be shown how to do it in great detail, you can also have the link to actually where to purchase it from as well. So one of the first things that people will be interested in is deciding what type of van you want. And looking on YouTube, there's very few that show different vans and different opportunities to purchase various different types of vans. So Kev The Wonder in Womble, this is his channel, and every week he will go to this auction site, the Brightwell's auction place, which is near his house, and he'll literally take his camera around and he'll film all the various vans. So he'll have a walk around them, it'll show you if there's any rust on them. He's been building camper vans and in camper vans for a long time. He's actually an auto electrician as well, so he's got a good insight into and knowledge of knowing all the different configurations and bits and pieces about vans. So once a week he walks around the yard, all the vehicles that are due to go into the auction, and he produces a video about that with his comments and views about the various vehicles. And then after that, later on in the week or the following week, he will actually follow the online auction of all the different vehicles that are being sold, and he will show you how much they're being sold for and the specifications of each vehicle. And I think this is really helpful. This is a brilliant service for people if they're trying to understand what van. This will give you an insight into what vans are on the market, some of the specifications, the information about them, and most importantly for a lot of people, the cost of them. And as you'll see on here, it also has motorhomes in there as well. So you may consider about buying a motorhome second hand, maybe one of these big A-class type things here, and using that as your base model to modify and adapt to suit your needs best. So Wandering Womble, great guy, does this every week, and brilliant opportunity to have a look. And you can comment as well live on his auction site, and you can ask him comments about the various vans and bits and pieces. The other thing about Kev as well, as I say, he's an auto electrician, and he does jobs for people. I don't think he does that many, but he is there and he is available to help people with wiring bits and pieces. I've actually seen him on some of the meetups that have been pre-organised for him, helping people out with various wirings. And you know, for a few beer tokens, I'm sure he'd be willing to help you out if he can, and if he's nearby and if it's doable for him. But for finding a van or understanding the size of a van and the configurations and all the opportunities that you can do with the various vans, this is a great site to start from to have a look at what vans are available. The other good thing about this auction place is that they take lots of ex-service vehicles, so there's a number of ambulances that go through here, and Kev will show you what's left in them, what comes out of them, and a lot of them have heaters in and things like that, as well as ex-service vehicles from the fire brigade and the police as well. So definitely check out Kev's channel for an insight into what vans are out there, an indication of what the costs are, and some of the conditions of the vehicles that are available. Another very popular channel, 10,000 subscribers, Mels Van Weld. Now Mel has he's built a few camper vans in his time. I think he used to build kit cars before he got into building camper vans, but once or twice a week he produces a video of what he's building or what he's developing for his van, and he has quite a good quirky look at things as well. I mean, this one here is talking about his water storage and his waste tank, and in this video particularly, I've never seen before, but he's used a pressurized stainless steel fire extinguisher to give him his water feed, and then he's used the diesel tank that come with his Chinese diesel heater as the waste tank, and he's fitted that into the side of the van with a release underneath to get rid of his waste water. So Mel's great on this as well, because he's very honest about what he's doing. He'll show you what he's done, and then if he's made a mistake he'll say, oh, I've done this and I've done it wrong, so I'm going to modify it and do this. And he's very much one of these people that thinks on his feet. He doesn't sit down with loads of diagrams. He gets a bit of wood and holds it up into place, cuts it to shape, and then works from there. But he's really, really good, and he's got a very good back library of videos of just about everything, again, about building your camper van. And also, if you do look back at some of his earlier videos, you'll see when he was purchasing this Sprinter van. So he was buying this Sprinter van, he was going through various auction sites, and he was having difficulty finding the van at the right price, and various problems he's had with the van from there onwards, and how he's overcome them. So Mels Van Weld, again, is using a Sprinter van, and he's building a configuration that's different to what Greg Vega's layout is, and he's building it with, you know, very simple driveway tools. What I mean by that, he's actually building it on his own driveway. He's outside his house doing this. He does have a garage for storage, but he basically works inside the van. So great channel, lots of information on there, and a history, back history of videos that show you just about every configuration you can think of, and some really quirky ways of doing stuff as well, which I really like. And he's a great guy, he's very entertaining, and he's just started doing live streams as well. So on the live streams you can send through the questions, and if you have any specific questions about various bits and pieces, I'm sure he'll help you and direct you what he's doing and how he's got across things. Another build channel, and I can't believe they've only got 353 subscribers. These two are a lovely couple, Jane and Graham. They're Woolly Cod Wanderers, and they've been building their long wheelbase Sprinter van, and they've done it all themselves. So there's a catalogue, a back library of various videos of all elements and things they've done to actually create the van that best meets their needs. And as I say, they're a really lovely couple. They come to various meetups as well, and there's an opportunity to meet them and have a look around their van and see how they've configured their van. Now this again, it's different from the last videos I've shown you. The setup on this is completely different again. And what Graham and Jane have decided to do is at the front of their van, they've got the cooking area and 2 single beds that pulls out. There's a full van tour on there, which shows it on details. And then at the back of the van, they've got a full bathroom. So they've got a shower in there and a toilet and a storage for all the coats and various bits and pieces. So another interesting way of how to configure your camper van. And they've done all this again in the driveway. It's not in a workshop. Graham's not a skilled carpenter, but he's done really well at building this, and the quality of the build is fantastic. It looks lovely inside. So check those out, Cod Wanderers, and give them a subscription as well, because they certainly deserve it. They're a lovely couple. Another great build channel, and again, not very many subscribers, 383. This is Rob, and his channel's called Red Pill in Motion. For all these channels, obviously I'll put the link below so you can click on them and have a look. Now, Rob made the decision that he'd had enough of living in his flat, and he decided to buy a van and convert it himself and fit it out so he can live it. And he has an Iveco, or Iveco, however you pronounce it, and it's a really long big van, and he's fitted this out himself. And I must say, the video about his insulation, it must be the best insulated van in the world. He really went to town on the insulation. He has a different way of doing his videos. He'll show clips and then he'll talk through it. And he's going through the process of showing each element of his build of his van and how he's done it, and how he's put it together, and how it best meets his needs. Another different configuration of a van. It's lovely inside. If you do get to any shows where Rob's there, pester him to have a look around his van, because it's amazing how much room there is in there, and how much storage, and how he's actually set it up as well. I think it's the only van that I've ever seen with a library in. So go across to Rob's channel, Red Pill in Motion, all about building his van and moving into it, and full-time van life. Another big channel that probably doesn't need any promotions, but not everybody has found all these channels, and I just thought I'd bring them all together as my selection of people that I know and respect, as I say. So Gadget John and Mange and their dog Cooper, and there's again another back library of videos on here, as well as all the travels and everything else. There's a history of their van. Or 2 vans actually. They had a T5, it was either a T5 or a T6 that they purchased, and the configuration for that wasn't as they wanted it, so they actually took the insides out of that and converted it how they wanted it. And then they decided they wanted a bigger van, so they upgraded to what they have now, which is a Fiat Ducato built by a company, Auto Trail, or as John calls it, Auto Fail. But what these videos do, as well as showing you how you can modify and the different things you can fit to your van to make it purpose built for yourself, it will also show you things about how the van was actually built, because John and Mandy decided they wanted to change the configuration of their van to best suit their needs. So they started to take it out, various bits out of the van, to look at configuring a full-size bed. A full-size bed that was fixed, instead of having to make a bed up. So when John took all the bed out on various bits and pieces that was holding the bed in place, he started to have a look at how the van was actually put together. And there's a video just over here now about the configuration of wiring and how the wiring was actually left by the manufacturers. It was miles and miles of wiring just thrown into a cupboard. And quite dangerous things as well. I can't find it on here at the moment, but somewhere on here in his back library, there's actually one where the underneath gas tank was leaking, and it never really been fitted properly. Likewise with the Truma heating system, it had one screw in it holding it down. And this was a brand new van they purchased, and it has actually come from the manufacturers. So this is what I was on about the quality of a van you may buy if you buy one from direct from a dealer, from a manufacturer, what they've built themselves. This gives a very good insight into all these videos of what John's actually found, how he's modified the van to best suit his needs, and in many cases just to make it safe. So yeah, Gadget John, John, Mandy and Cooper, and their exploits and developments of their camper van and all the bits and pieces that fitted on it. So we're now on to Luke's van life. Luke has got a Iveco, another big van, and he's built that out himself, and he's going through the process of making modifications now and adaptations to the van. Great channel. He does lots of product reviews as well. So he's very much in touch with the companies at the moment and doing product reviews for various bits and pieces, and there's a number of giveaways as well that he's managed to get out of some of the companies as well. So there's a number of different elements to Luke's channel, as well as building a van from scratch and all the elements he's put into that. He's now modifying it to best suit his needs. Now he's used it for a while, and there's all the product reviews and bits and pieces related to it. He also goes to plenty meetups and is involved with a meetup down south where you can actually take your van and get support to actually do and fix things to your van while you're actually down there. So definitely check out Luke's van life. Here we have Adam's channel, and Adam's channel is called Build It, Fix It, Use It. And he has self-built a crafter van, and he's got a completely different configuration to his van. He hasn't got many subscribers, which is really surprising, 268, but he has done this on a budget. He's built everything himself. He's done it outside his workshop. You know, straightforward basic tools, and he's done it all himself. And he's got this van to a point now where him and his wife have been across and down to Italy and touring around Italy in his van. But the configuration of this van is really, really interesting. It's particularly interesting at the back of the van, where it's got a very small bathroom squeezed in by the side of a bed. It's really worth looking at how the configuration of this van's been put together. And he's a great guy, he's really helpful, and he's down on the south coast, down in Cornwall. And he's got a lovely van. He's probably got the best drinks cabinet I've seen in a van so far. So definitely give Adam a check out at Build It, Fix It, Use It, and have a look at the configuration and how he's put his van together as well. Very interesting how he's managed to fit so much into a van. Another channel that doesn't really need any introductions, and it's Mevi's channel. Absolutely great guy, really funny guy, genuine guy. But what I'm talking about here is not his great videos he produces about his experiences and all the things he's going through about living in his van and just the fantastic way he produces videos. It's about his back library, about buying his van and building his van. And if you haven't watched Mevi, definitely watch Mevi's van build. He was learning on the job. He didn't have a great deal of skills around this, and he didn't know how to do various bits and pieces. But through the help of Greg Virgo's channel and some others on YouTube, he's built a brilliant van. He didn't probably get the best van to start with, so he's had some problems with the van, but that's all been documented through this. But this is a great example, as I say, apart from his brilliant videos of everything he gets up to, but his videos about his van build, of how he's done things and how he's set his van up. And he lives in this van full time, and he has done for quite a while. So definitely check out Mevi's channel. Great guy, and a fantastic back library of interesting and very funny things about him building his van. Another great van build channel. This is another Iveco van, and this is Mark's channel, IVEAVAN. And he's been through a very, very long process, I know he won't mind me saying, of building this van. He bought this Iveco extremely big van, and I don't think he realised how bad the van was when he started. He had to do a hell of a lot of welding with it, and he ended up changing the engine in the end. And he's practically, apart from forging the steel, he's probably built this van from scratch really, but he's done a tremendous job. And he had a real good idea around this one as well. He bought this van, and then he bought a caravan that had been damaged, and he used all the components out of the caravan to put into actually build this camper van. And he is an engineer, and him and his mate Spunky, another Mark, have gone through in great detail and put some very comprehensive electrics into this vehicle as well, computer control, various bits and pieces. So definitely have a look at this. This gives you an insight into the work you have to do if you buy an older van, and some of the major costs that can occur from getting an older van, and the time commitment that's going to be used. It's got a brilliant layout on this. It's another one of these massive vans. We call it the gentleman's lodge, it's that big. But he's just got it finished. He's just got his MOT done, and he's out using it. But the back library and detail of how he's built things and what he's done in relation to this van is just incredible. So I'd definitely go and check out IVEAVAN. That's Mark's channel. Self-build channel, Monge 2. This guy's called Dave. He goes to various meetups and bits and pieces, but he's built his own van, and he's moved into it and lives in it full time. And this is the first van he's built, and there's a library of videos there of everything he's done to build his van and all the bits and pieces he's put in that. And he's still, as he's been in it for quite some time, I think he's probably been in it for about 8 months or something like that, maybe longer, he's actually now modifying it. So what you tend to find is that when people build vans, it never really ends. You just continue modifying and adapting and changing it. So I suppose, like most people, when you buy a place to live in, a house or even a camper van, it's you set it up as best you think you want it, and then you start to modify and adapt it once you've been in there a while. And Dave's at that point as well. He's a taxi driver. He drives a taxi, but he lives now full time in the van is converted, and he's a really funny guy as well, and he does get to many of the meetups, so well worth a channel. His channel's called Monge 2. Another popular channel, 12,000 subscribers, and he's been around for a long time, as Martin. Houseless Not Homeless Van Life Vlogs, and he's got this very old van, I think it used to be a minibus, and he's keeping this van going, and he doesn't restrict himself where he goes in this van, so he travels all across Europe, and in various episodes he's getting stuck somewhere, but he always seems to get himself out of there. But this van is battered and bruised, but it's one that he has lovingly put back together time and time again, and he lives in it full time. But the other thing about Martin, as well as being a full-time van lifer and a long catalogues of various things he's done to various vans and vehicles he's lived in, he also is another one of these people that you can contact, and if he's available, he'll come and do work on various people's vans. So he's just recently, in one of his videos, he's just been to see some friends of his, and he's done some work on their van for them for a few quid. So he travels around the country, he earns money off YouTube, and he also does work where he can, including festivals and things, but also about helping people do various modifications and things to the van. So if there's a particular element you want some help with, Martin might be able to come down to you if it works for you both. He might be able to come down for a few quid and do some work on your van for you. Van build channel, Lost in Europe, Ash. So Ash is another Iveco massive van that he lives in full time, and he's built the van from scratch. And there's lots of different back catalogue videos of all the building, everything he's gone through with his van. He's taken it into some serious conditions in Europe as well, in some serious minus snow conditions. He's recently put a wood burner in there as well, which is interesting, and he said that's a game changer. He says it's the best thing he's ever done. So check out Ash's channel. Now the thing with Ash's channel, which is called Lost in Europe, it's not just about the videos he's put together and about his van build. He's also travelling around the country at the moment doing van tours of different vans. So if you link into Ash's channel, if you've not already found him, and subscribe to him, he will be constantly going round and doing van tours of various setups and various bits of information about how people have put their van together and what they look like. So definitely worth checking this one out. He produces a video nearly every day at the moment, and it's interesting to see what he's modifying now. He's keeping his van going. He's just managed to get it through the MOT in his latest video, and he's a great guy. So definitely check out Ash at Lost in Europe, and he'll be at a number of the van meets as well. So he's definitely at Quirky, and is also down at the Overland show in April. The Boondockers, Paddy, Kirsty and Kaylin. Now, this is a van that's been built on a budget. They paid 800 quid for this Transit, and I think they was a bit surprised at the condition of it when they actually got it home. The early stages of this van conversion and the videos around it show how much welding had to be put back into this, and their mate Scott did a lot of welding for them and literally had to put practically a new floor in this van to sort out the rust that comes with a Transit of this age. But there's a full list of videos on here of all their van build and how they've fitted various bits and pieces, and they've done this on a little budget. And there's the three of them as a family living this full time and travelling around the UK. It hasn't all gone to plan. They've had various situations where they've had to various problems with the engine that led to them actually getting rid of that engine and fitting a new engine into the van. And they've had some problems with like the diesel heater and various other bits and pieces, but they've got over that and they're still out there living in the van and enjoying life. And they're considering about buying another van in another year or so's time. So as well as looking at the back catalogue of all the bits and pieces they did when they built their van and the challenges they had with such a small budget, they've also looking at future vans, and in future videos you'll be able to see in there what they're looking to buy. I think they're talking about buying a Luton or something like that and converting that. But definitely a long list of information and informative videos of their van build and what they've got up to once they've been on the road. Now, this is a channel that I watch, but I don't really know the guy, but I'm trying to find one where somebody would build a van for you. So this is BlackRock Outfitters. And this guy is currently building a van for a customer, so it fits the brief very well. He's purchased a van, or the customer purchased a van, and he's had to change the back doors and various bits and pieces on it, and he's currently spraying it, and he's going through filming each element of the conversion and the build of this van. It's quite an entertaining videos he's had before about various things you need to be aware of when you're buying a van and some of the bits and pieces that you need to know to stop you causing your problems later on in relation to rust and things. But this one here seems to be a company that this guy runs that if you come up with a specification and you've got a budget, you can have a conversation with him and he will look to build a van to your specification. As I say, I don't really know the guy, it's just what I've seen online, and he's currently going through this process where he's building a van with somebody. So that's BlackRock Outfitters. And the final one I've got in this listing here is for CJ's Project Umber. Now, he has an ambulance that he's had for quite some time. He lives in it full time, and he used to work for a company, or he's worked for a few companies I think, that actually build camper vans. And he's gone by himself now, so he's self-employed and he travels around the company doing jobs for people on their camper vans. And he's just great as CJ. He's a great guy. Him and his dog Lance travel around in their converted ambulance, and it really is street side mechanics. He's been in middle of nowhere in Europe fixing all sorts of bits and pieces on his ambulance to keep it going, and he really has got some brilliant skills. So this is another one of these people that you can call upon if you buy your van and there's a particular bit you can't do yourself. You can contact CJ, and if it works out between the two of you, you can employ him to do some work on your van for you. As I say, great guy, great channel, really interesting. His exploits in his van and where he gets to and everything he gets up to. He's just recently upgraded the batteries. He's managed to get a deal with a battery company, and he's just upgraded his batteries in his ambulance to give him a bit more power for winter and everything. So he's got plenty of contacts. He knows all the different configurations, and you can see from the work he's done on his own van. There's a video here where he's practically rebuilding the front end of his van. So definitely highly recommend CJ. You probably already know CJ's got nearly 30,000 subscribers, but it just fits with the list of things that I mentioned in my last video about self-build, budgets and people that can help you, and this is a guy who could potentially help you with building your van. He goes to many of the meetups. I'm sure he's at Quirky, and I think he's at the Overland show as well. So if you're at any of them, you get the chance to collar him, but definitely check out his videos. It's been a bit of a different video for me. I hope you've enjoyed it. And there's probably another 50-60 channels I could have recommended that I watch, so I've just handpicked the ones I know best that try to fit the remit of my last video. If you do know of a channel that's useful to help people either understand the trials and tribulations of buying a purpose-built camper van and things that can go wrong, or people who can help you build a van, help somebody build their own van, or good videos that show the custom build of a van, drop them in the comments below. And likewise, if you're interested in building your van and you want to see some more channels, have a look through the listing below and you might find something there that meets your needs. But there are endless and endless amounts of videos and channels and bits and pieces out there that can help you build your van. All you really need now is to set your budget and get out there and do it. Thanks again for watching. See you soon.